Hey, what's up, guys? So I hope everything's going well for you. We talked a little bit about the physical geography of U.S. and Canada yesterday. I don't really know how quickly I anticipate going through these. Um, Basically, I'm just going to post the notes doing this style since most of you won't be back until like next week, middle of next week probably. So I'll post assignments on the classroom as we go, but these are just here as a guideline. And if you want to pause the video as we go through it, that we can write things down. That way I won't pause a lot to give you time to write down. Just pause the video. Okay, sounds good. Today we're going to transition into section 2, climate and vegetation of the U.S. and Canada. It's a pretty quick section, and you'll see the correlation between physical geography and the climate and vegetation. All right, so my face is in the way already. The objective, students will be able to identify the factors that cause variation in the climate and vegetation in the regions of U.S. and Canada. So let's just jump right into it, I guess. I gotta tell you, it's really awkward teaching a lesson with nobody in the classroom. Like I'm literally the only one in my room, and it's just so weird. Okay, so the southern climates, they are warm climates of varying precipitation. They are found in the south. Some examples would be like this region, the southeast, and then here's the southwest. You'll see the regions are very different in terms of precipitation, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. You'll notice the southwest is dry and hot, and the southeast is warm and wet. And it has to do with where they're getting their moisture from and how the physical geography impacts that. We'll look at that in just a little bit and why. And then you'll notice the average July temperature in across the south is between 90 and 100, except when you get over here in southern Arizona and southern California, it's between 100 and 110, which is just astronomically high. I mean, obviously, Death Valley is right here. You can cook an egg on the hood of your car. I've never tried it. I'll just take his word for it. Pretty crazy concepts. Okay, warm and wet climates. This is the southeast United States. This is a region we call the Everglades on the southern tip of Florida. You can see it's real swampy and marshland down here. To get around, you really need like an airboat or something that sits up high in the water. Just a conventional boat won't get you very far. Hurricanes are battering the coast down there this year. I think on CNN 10 we heard yesterday that Louisiana has got hit 4 times this year by tropical storms and hurricanes. Just recently, Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta hit like within 20 miles of each other, which is pretty uncommon. Just insane. So hurricanes, I think you can all read, but I'll read it to you anyway. Ocean storms hundreds of miles wide, and they have winds of 74 miles an hour or more. That is pretty high winds. Some of them can get over 200 miles an hour. That does a lot of damage. And then the rain falls in. I think Louisiana just got almost 17 inches of rain in the last hurricane, which is that's too much. Okay, so we will move on there. Warm and dry climates. The southwest United States is hot and dry. We talked a little bit about why it's so hot and dry when we talked about low latitude climates. We're not near the equator per se, but we're much closer than, say, Canada. And so that has a lot to do with the direct sun angles. We talked about the rain shadow effect yesterday. The Rocky Mountains and the Sierra Nevadas, they cause patches of dry areas. Yesterday on the map, I circled the Great Basin. That area usually doesn't get a lot of rain either. Southwest United States is blocked by the Sierra Nevadas. They get the warm ocean currents in California, but the rain shadow effect happens and it doesn't rain a lot in like Death Valley especially. You can see in the picture the earth is cracking. It's so dry. And there's a track in the rock, and I'm sure you can see it, but here I'll highlight it for you. It's pretty weird, right? You can see it starts from here and follows this. I think we talked about why that happens, but it's just so interesting to me. It's called Racetrack Del Playa, and what happens is there's a thin layer of water that forms overnight. The condensation is so hot in the day, and then at night it cools rapidly. Almost, I mean, it is below freezing, and it forms a thin layer of ice, and then the wind pushes these rocks, and it creates this disrupted Earth look. Pretty cool concept. So the rocks are essentially moving by themselves. The highest recorded temperature in Death Valley is 134 degrees. That is baking hot. I think the other day in Crawford, by the other day I mean like 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, it was like 105, and I swear we were gonna die, and we didn't have that much humidity, and neither does the Southwest United States. But another 30 degrees, that is just way too hot. Um, and then also in the Southwest United States, they have this vegetation, uh, and it's called the chaparral. Sorry, there was an announcement over the intercom. I was trying to listen. So you can just fast forward through that phase of nothing. Okay, the chaparral is a Mediterranean scrub climate. And you'll see there's like real short shrubs here. Uh, it's not very tall. Doesn't get a lot of water. These are like hardy, woody plants that just don't need much to grow. It just covers the whole basin there. Okay, that's the Southwest United States. Again, the rain shadow effect causes this dry climate, and it's just so hot because we're lower latitude next to I mean, we're closer to the equator than most places in the United States, so it's naturally the hottest. Okay, northern climates. These are cool climates of varying precipitation. As you can tell, the northern climates, I'll circle them. Let's not use the color that's on the map. Let's go with like this sweet pink color. Northern climates are here. You'll notice the eastern half over here, a lot of rain. And then we have like this belt here of not much, and then patchy, no rain, ton of rain. We talked about that yesterday with the rain shadow effect, why this area gets between 80 and 200 inches a year. This region gets almost none, and then we have a little bit more rain in here, and then this is a semi-arid climate. Nebraska falls into the interior climate, which we'll talk about in a little bit. When we say northern climates, we mean the northern half of the United States, and you'll see the temperature is much more mild up here, like between 70 and 80 in most places, and that's in July. So not bad. It's pretty reasonable. Okay. The interior climates, this is what I was just talking about. My face is in the way again. What the heck? The interior climates are more extreme because they're not affected by ocean currents. Um, when you're so far inland, the ocean currents do not carry that moisture in the jet stream. We don't get as much moisture coming off the ocean. So this is like the central U.S., the Midwest, probably anywhere from Idaho to Pennsylvania. I know Pennsylvania is on the East Coast, but it is touching the ocean, I guess. But no, sorry, it's not. It's over there. But anyway, the central U.S., this is us in Nebraska. We have Great Plains. This is a giant grass prairie in central U.S. It goes up into Canada even. There's prairies, which are naturally treeless expanses of grass. We're very familiar with that around here. We have supercells, violent spring and summer thunderstorms. As you know, last summer we had up to baseball-sized hail, which is just mint condition for all of our vehicles and houses, and we're still roofing around here, still fixing things. My pickup still looks very sad. Plus the deer, you just can't win. What the heck? Anyway, that was bad news. So our weather can be violent. We have hot summers. We talked about how it was 105 just the other day. And bitter cold winters, it can be well below zero, especially with wind chill, and that makes it one of the more extreme regions in the U.S. Uh, and not in terms of like highs and lows, but just overall temperature swings. We have a lot of fluctuation. Okay, coastal climates, the west coast of the U.S. and Canada. This is a lot of mild summers. They're cool. Winters are overcast and rainy, especially think like Oregon and Washington here, Northern California. They don't get a lot of snow. Um, Sometimes they do, but it's not like a natural every winter type thing. Um, it's like mid 70s in the summer and 40s, 50s. I mean, it can get cold overnight, but it's not like freezing below zero most of the time. Um, so that's like Washington and Oregon. High latitude climates, we definitely talked about this in the previous chapters, how once you get farther away from the equator, it becomes really cold. This is largely Canada and Alaska. They have blizzards with heavy snow and little visibility. Sometimes we get those in Nebraska, but not nearly as severe as places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, especially Canada and Alaska. They have deciduous forests, some tundra. So the difference is that the deciduous forests are just or covered in trees, and it's just trees spread out across the countryside. And the tundra is the far bottom left picture right here. Let me find my mouse. Right here, again, short, shrubby, wooded plants, not much precipitation, doesn't need much. It's sometimes frozen ground underneath, and it's just there's not a lot of vegetation there most of the time. Okay, vegetation regions. This is the map I want to show you because it correlates with the climate zones. Warm and wet means there's more vegetation. We talked about how over here there is a ton of rainfall. They have a lot of coniferous forests, which means like pine cones and cone-bearing trees, and deciduous is like leafy trees. We have a lot of that in the eastern United States where they get a lot of rain. Trees are thirsty; they drink a lot of water. And then in the middle of the United States here, we have I don't know why I'm just saying things. We have a pen for a reason, right? We have grasslands, and we're familiar with that. Wow, it has a little tail on it. Just ignore that. Man, what a disaster. Okay, grasslands in the middle of the United States. And then over here, we obviously have some desert conditions. I think my bar is hiding. Maybe you can't see that, but it's hiding it. That's a desert. And so my point is, like over here it's warm and dry, but over here it's warm and wet, and so we don't have much vegetation. We have a lot of vegetation, and the vegetation really correlates with the climate zones and the precipitation. That's what I want you to take away from that. I'm going to stop rambling and move on. Oops, got to hit the clicker button and not the pen. All right. Okay, so the closure, again, my face in the way. What the heck? Just like physical geography, the climate and vegetation of the U.S. and Canada displays a wide range of patterns. There's a connection between physical geography and climate and vegetation. And I hope you've seen that. I get this was kind of fast. It was a crash course. Again, if you need to pause it, go back and pause it and take some notes on it. I would appreciate that. Again, they're just there to help you. The assignment is on page 142, number 2 through 9. I know a lot of you have reached out to me to get some books. I sent some with 7th graders. We dropped some off in the office. Some of them I'll drop off at your house if you need me to. Just let me know. We will get you your books somehow. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Remember, we're here to help. I know you guys are quarantined, but that doesn't mean you have to. Uh, you can still physically distance yourself without socially distancing yourself. So please reach out for help if you need it. That's all I have for today. So thank you. Stay safe. Miss you guys. See ya.